In an old mountain town, there was a tea house with no sign, no lantern, no advertisement, only a narrow wooden door and a bell that rang like a whisper. People said the owner was once a master, not a master of tea, a master of minds. One fog-heavy morning, a young scholar arrived, well-dressed, sharp-eyed, and exhausted in the way ambitious people are exhausted. He bowed and said, "Master, I've read many books, I've studied many paths, but I still feel behind." The master didn't answer. He simply placed a clean cup on the table. The scholar kept talking. "I want your method, your secret. How do you learn faster? How do you stay calm? How do you become wise while others panic?" His words came fast, like he was afraid silence would expose him. The master lifted the teapot and began to pour. The cup filled. It reached the rim, and the master kept pouring. Tea spilled over the edge and ran across the table like a small flood. The scholar jolted up. "Stop! It's overflowing!" The master poured one more breath, then set the teapot down. Silence. The scholar stared at the mess, offended. "You wasted it." The master nodded once. "Yes." The scholar exhaled sharply as if he'd solved the puzzle. "That's the lesson, right? My mind is full. I must empty it." The master's gaze sharpened, not cruel, just precise. "That is the story people repeat," he said, "but it is not your real problem." He pointed to the cup. "Look." The scholar looked down. The cup was still. No pouring, no movement, but the tea level was dropping, slowly, quietly, as if the cup were drinking itself. A thin stream ran from the base, almost invisible, spreading into a dark stain on the wood. The scholar's throat tightened. "What? What?" The master lifted the cup slightly. A hairline crack wrapped around the bottom, so fine you'd miss it unless you were forced to see it. The master said, "You thought the problem was fullness, but the cup was never full. It was leaking." The scholar's face went hot. "So you're saying—" "I'm saying," the master replied, "you come to me asking for more knowledge, but you don't keep what you already receive." The scholar swallowed. That hit too close, because he knew the feeling. Reading a chapter, nodding at a lesson, feeling inspired for one night, then waking up empty again. The master poured himself tea, only halfway, and placed his cup beside the cracked one. "No overflow," he said, "no drama, just staying." The scholar stared. "How do I stop leaking?" The master didn't rush. He reached under the counter and brought out a small bowl of dark lacquer, thick, glossy, almost black. He dipped a fine brush into it. Then he traced the crack gently, as if repairing something living. Not fast, not flashy, just patient.
When the lacquer set, he took a pinch of gold powder and dusted a thin line over the seam, subtle, not decorative, like a quiet scar. He placed the cup back down. "Now," he said, "watch." He poured tea again. The cup filled, the rim rose, and this time it held. No spill, no drain. The scholar stared as if he'd seen magic. But it wasn't magic, it was maintenance. The master said, "People talk about emptying the mind, but first you must seal it." The scholar asked softly, "Seal it from what?" The master counted on his fingers. "Pride, because pride interrupts listening. Fear, because fear makes you rush. And noise, not outside noise, inside noise. The voice that says, hurry. The voice that says, prove yourself. The voice that says, not enough. The scholar's eyes dropped. He whispered, I thought reading more would fix me. The master replied, reading more is just pouring more. Then he tapped the cup lightly. Your real problem is not lack of information. It is lack of staying power. The scholar frowned. Staying power? The master nodded. Tea is meant to be hot. If the cup leaks, the heat escapes first. Wisdom is the same. An idea needs heat, time, stillness. It needs to stay in you long enough to change you. But if your attention leaks, the idea grows cold before it becomes you. The scholar sat very still now. No performance, no clever questions, just a man seeing his own mind for the first time. He asked quietly, so what do I do? The master slid the repaired cup toward him. Take one thing, not 10. Let it stay. Practice it until it warms your bones. He paused, then added, because a mind that is always collecting often becomes the emptiest mind of all. The fog outside pressed against the windows. The bell by the door rang once in the wind. The scholar lifted the cup and drank. The tea was hot, and for the first time in months his mind felt capable of holding something. Not because it was emptier, but because it was no longer leaking. Lesson: a full mind isn't the real danger. A leaking mind is. Before you chase more, seal what is quietly draining you.